Day and welcome to KUM News Extra. I'm your host, Joan Charfris. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, as you can see, I'm here at the Guam Animals In Need shelter here in Jigo, and I speak with Executive Director Allison Hadley. Well, Day, Allison, thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down with me. This is actually my first time here at GAIN in Jigo, so it's really nice to kind of see what we're discussing. I wanted to kind of sit down with you to find out what GAIN has been up to. Of course, the pandemic has affected many businesses and organizations, and how has it affected the shelter?
Well, like everybody else, we've definitely had to kind of alter how we do everything, including hours, the way that we're able to bring people in, the adoption processes, everything has changed. We basically put everything online, so everything that we do now can be done digitally, so people don't necessarily have to be up here, to do everything. That's for their safety as well as for the staff. And that's probably been the biggest change for us, is everything kind of going virtual. And then of course, really having to reduce our hours. We've kind of been open 8 to 5, 365 days a year for years. And we've had to reduce that, again, for the safety of everybody, the public as well as the staff. And we have certain days that we're open, certain time frames that we're able to do certain things, just to really kind of keep it as scheduled as absolutely possible, so that because it has a tendency to get a little chaotic, back in the day. So we're trying to just really try to reduce that type of thing and keep everybody as safe as possible.
Has it been an adjustment for those that have been wanting to stop by, and as well as the employees here?
Yeah. It can be tough. Sometimes people, they might just be strolling and they want to just stop by and take a look at some animals, but we just depending on what day it is and what our capacity is like for visitors, we will just have to maybe tell some people to reschedule with us so that we know when they're coming, and to just keep it all black and white as much as possible, just to reduce too much foot traffic.
And speaking of capacity, we were actually talking about it a little bit earlier. I guess, how has it been? I know at some point there was a point where you guys were at full capacity, and how is that now?
Well, we kind of are always operating at full capacity. Unfortunately, we don't have a huge space for incoming animals, so that has really been one of the most changed aspects of our operations, is that for people to drop off, it has to be scheduled pretty well in advance. We do have a bit of a waiting list, and that's just because we do have a lot of people who are anxiously trying to drop off animals, or they might find an animal and that sort of thing. And we're working as fast as we can and as best we can, to help them get in quickly. Obviously, if it's an emergency, we'll take it at any time. But we do just ask people to contact us either through email, social media, or call us, so that we can, kind of figure out what their situation is and try to work out the best suited, I'm having trouble with words today. The best way to get that animal in and that works for them as well as for us.
Recently they've kind of implemented the stray dog roundup program. Has that had any impact with people wanting to bring in animals here?
It has a bit. It just kind of depends on what our agreements are with the mayors and animal control, depending on what's going on out there in those roundup areas. If it's a public, stray, all those types of things. It's very involved. There's a lot of details that have to be looked at in order for us to determine what we need to do to move forward. We try to not let those types of things affect public intakes, just because we know that they're separate. People are doing their own thing versus what the government's needing to do. So we're trying to access both of those groups as much as we can, but it's really just logistics, resources, and our capacity. So it can affect it, but we're trying really hard not to let that happen as much as we can.
I know recently we were spared, there was a tropical depression that was heading towards the area. I wanted to find out, so let's say there is a typhoon heading our way. I guess, what steps does GAIN take to ensure the safety of not only the shelter but the animals?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, the goal is to foster out all the animals because, as anybody who's been up here, they know that everything's outside. So if there's heavy winds and lots of rain, we want to get them out of here and into a home and a safe space. So we're always looking for storm fosters, we call them. So if people are interested, they can let us know. It's really short term. The longest time frame for storms, hopefully, as long as it's not too bad, is 3 days, 2 to 3 days max, just to get them out of here, for the time that the storm will be passing through. And it also gives them an opportunity to be in a household, spend time with other animals, and that makes them more adoptable. So it's a win-win for everybody, and that allows us to secure the buildings and everything and not have to worry about anybody being up here and being at risk. So yeah, we basically try to clear all of the shelter within a couple of days time frame prior to the storm hitting. But yes, we were very lucky that it dissipated and was nothing of any real major concern. But yes, if people are interested, we are always looking for storm fosters. It really helps us out, and it's not long term. It's really just for kind of a sleepover. And if they get to know the animals and give us that information, that again helps the animal become more adoptable.
And who's to say they might fall in love with the animal?
Yes.
And then, so
this does happen. We're okay with this as well. This is totally fine.
So, and that's what I also wanted to kind of get into is like fosters. A lot of the time, well, especially during the pandemic, and during lockdown and everything,
Yes.
A big issue was mental well-being, and
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people have mentioned how their animals. Their fur babies were kind of like their saving grace.
Yes.
Is that something that you encourage too, especially during this time, to really maybe have them, foster, and then who's to say that down the line it will want them to adopt? Is that something you encourage with people that?
Yeah, absolutely. During our first and second lockdown on island, we did actually foster out all the animals because the staff, if we didn't have to be up here, traveling around the island when things were really uncertain, we were trying to find a way to prevent that for the staff. And because the staff wasn't able to be up here all the time, the animals just weren't getting the socializing that they need. We do have visitors and volunteers that come in specifically to spend time with the animals because, there's very few staff, so we are not able to do that daily as often as, we want to, while we're working on just the daily chores. So we were able to foster out all the animals,
Wow.
all cats, dogs, puppies, kittens, and they were in foster for roughly 8 months. And a lot of them did get adopted by those families, or they had meet and greets with others. Some of them did virtual meet and greets to keep safe, and a lot of them did get adopted. And I absolutely believe that spending time with them helps mental health. Totally. Physical health, I mean, if you have a dog, you have to take them out. You have to be active in caring for them. And so it, especially for people who maybe weren't able to work or, anything like that, it gives you a focus, which I think was a big deal for a lot of people. If you didn't have anything to kind of really focus on, you're just kind of dawdling, at home, and that will drive you crazy. And so animals, they're huge support systems in that sense, and so we were very lucky that the community came forward and helped us out. I know it was a little stressful for some people, it can be hard to try, if it's not working out, we try and find a new foster, but that can be difficult. But we did our best, and it seemed to work out really well, and a lot of them did find homes.
Don't go anywhere. More News Extra when we return. Hoffaday, and welcome back to News Extra. I'm Joan Charfris, and I'm speaking with Executive Director from GAIN, Allison Hadley, about how you can adopt some of our furry friends. So let's get into the adoption process. I guess, how does one go about, if they're interested? How, I guess, take me, would you be able to take, I know you took Andy through the process,
yeah.
but take me through the process of how one can go about. Yes.
Okay. So as I said, everything is virtual now. So if people are unable to come to the shelter, they can look at our website, guamanimals.org. And then we do also premiere Pets of the Week on our Facebook and Instagram pages. And if they see somebody that they have interest in, they can apply through the website. You essentially click on the photo, and there will be like a little button that says adoption information, and that will bring up the application. And that's submitted to us, and we receive it in our database. And once we go through it, we can contact the interested person. And essentially everything can be done over email and over the phone, aside from picking up the animal, of course. Otherwise, if they want to come visit them actually here at the shelter, they would just need to call us or email us to schedule a time and day to come do that visitation. And most animals can be adopted same day. It is $125, and that covers their vaccines and dewormers and general health care that they receive while they're here at the shelter. And then that also covers a microchip and the spay or neuter surgery. You know, they get a lot with that adoption fee. And it just helps us, you know, kind of recoup some of the costs that we put into making sure that they're healthy while they're here. And that's kind of it. You know, adult animals that are over 3 months of age do need a rabies vaccine, and that's handled through veterinarian offices and all of that. And we handle the scheduling of the spay and neuter surgery. So it's a pretty streamlined process, and it's really quite easy. So, and if people have questions, they can just give us a call or message us on social media, and we can let them know. You know, if they just want to know if an animal's still available, any of that good stuff, we can let them know right away.
Nice. And it's the same process for fostering too?
Essentially, yes. We do have a foster Facebook page. It's called Gain Foster Network. So they can join that page and fill out a questionnaire to let us know, you know, what they are able to foster, you know, kittens or pups, adult animals, that sort of thing. We are generally not fostering out young animals because they get adopted very quickly. Those guys are usually doing just fine. It's the adult cats and dogs that we really always need fosters. So, you know, if people are working from home and they're kind of, you know, maybe feeling lonely, or they want to just have some companionship but aren't able to actually adopt, fostering is an awesome way to fulfill that for themselves and to help an animal. Because like I said, you know, they spend time with a family in a house, kind of basically learning how to be an animal again, because most of these guys are from, you know, they're strays from, you know, just out in the community. So learning how to be a dog or a cat, you know, kind of gives them that opportunity to become more adoptable, and it really just helps the shelter because it opens up kennels for incoming animals to be put, you know, up for adoption as well. So it helps everybody. So if people are interested, definitely contact us.
And I'm sure you guys are always looking for volunteers. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, we don't have a volunteer coordinator right now, but we hope to in the near future. So right now, our volunteer opportunities are a little bit less than normal. We aren't having people do so many chores as much, which, you know, some people might prefer not to do that. But we are looking for people to come socialize, just to give animals more interaction time, walk the adult dogs, spend times with the cats. So they can contact us, and we will let them know, you know, the time frames that we have available and on what days. And then they can get signed up and come in and hang out with the animals. We do also have other opportunities, like we do supply drives that cost you less every other week or so. So if people want to sit outside of Cost You Less, you know, and kind of solicit with people, give them a wish list of the items that we're looking for, and then people can purchase and donate on the way out. That really helps us quite a lot as well. So anything like that, if people have that time, we are eager for them to help us.
And that was another thing I was going to bring up was donations. I guess you said that there's a wish list. Is there, I mean, like for those that are watching, is there anything that you can, off the top of your head, like what's on that wish list?
Yeah, well, always at the top of that list is cat litter, bleach, dry dog food, and dry puppy chow. So it's a little bit smaller, you know, it's easier for the pups to eat. Wet cat food. Those are kind of some of the top things that we're always looking for. But yeah, bleach and cat litter, you can never go wrong. We'll always need that.
And you know, if you know, people want to find out more information, I know you mentioned, you know, a lot of it is virtual. You know, I know that KUAM on their our Instagram pages and our social media, we post the pet of the week.
Yes,
and
thank you.
I guess how can people, be in the know with everything going on here at the shelter?
Yeah, social media is always a good way. You know, in terms of our operations and stuff, things haven't changed much, but when we do have bigger changes, we will be posting about it to let people know. Well, I'm sure we'll be in contact with you guys so that, you know, we can get that information disseminated even more. And just calling us or emailing us, you know, we're always, you know, ready to respond to those things. We aren't open every single day, so if somebody does call and they get the answering machine, we just ask for them to listen through the whole thing to hear, you know, all the steps for how to go about certain things. And we will get back to them, you know, as soon as we possibly can. But we're always, you know, online, always checking the phones and stuff. So if people have questions, they can just give us a call or message us.
And your number is?
653-4246.
Keep it here. More with Allison when we return. And we're back. If you're just tuning in, this is KUM News Extra, and tonight I'm talking with Allison Hadley from GAIN. It's something that I'm sure you see on social media, you know, animals that have been neglected or abused, or even seen, you know, like on the streets. And how does, I guess, like, have you had people that have come to the shelter, I guess, seeking assistance, or maybe, you know, in a panic, you know, especially because they're animal lovers, trying to figure out, you know, what do I do?
Yeah.
Is there something that you would recommend, like, in terms of
steps to
yes.
take? And yeah, definitely, people come to the shelter all the time. Unfortunately, we are not, you know, badge holders. We aren't able to go out into the community and remove animals in that sort of situation, but we can absolutely receive that information and provide it to the appropriate people. That would be animal control or village mayors, you know, kind of just depending on what the situation is. Abuse and neglect is, you know, a top priority, and so we try to make sure that those situations are handled ASAP. We don't recommend really for people to try and take it into their own hands. I know that can be difficult sometimes, but, you know, there is a very, you know, legal procedures, and if steps are, you know, kind of bypassed, sometimes the result isn't what we're hoping for. And so we do ask that people, you know, contact us or animal control at Department of Agriculture or their village mayor to try and just get the information out to see who can be, you know, the first person up at that situation to help out as much as they can. But yeah, unfortunately, GAIN isn't able to go out there and handle those situations. We're really the receiving end of things and can act kind of as a middleman. But if people do see something, we really do ask that they speak up, let somebody know, so that there can just at least be just, you know, a welfare check. Maybe sometimes that's all that's needed, and it could just be a matter that a family just needs help with something. And so that's really the goal. You know, we want animals to stay with their families, you know, if it's a good situation. So we want to try and help as much as we can, whether it's the family that's in need or the animal and that sort of thing. So yeah, but yeah, we definitely get that type of information almost daily.
And I think that's a great, it's such a great thing to see on social media, where there's more and more pages, more and more, I guess you could say, advocates. There's more networking involved now, you know, with animals, and you see it. Is that something? I mean, is that something that GAIN is happy, you know, to see?
Yeah, I think Guam has really kind of, you know, beefed up its, you know, animal welfare, animal advocacy community. People are speaking out a lot more. You know, if they see something, they're saying something. They're asking, you know, the government to, you know, make this a priority. And that's what, you know, we really want, is for the community to voice their concerns to the government so that senators and any other higher ups, you know that this is what the community wants. They want to see some changes. They want to see laws better enforced. They want to see people held accountable for actions that are, you know, against a part of the community that doesn't have a voice. And so we definitely appreciate seeing more advocacy and more action. You know, the animal community does create a lot of high emotions, and people do have differing opinions on how things should or should not be handled. But you know, we just try to make sure that communication lines are always open between us and you know, the government and animal advocacy, you know, in any form. You know, we are the only shelter. We want people to feel comfortable to be able to come to us with questions, concerns, all of that, even if, you know, their opinions may not fall immediately in line with that of the shelters or anything like that. You know, we are kind of the hub of all those communications, you know, being the only place that animals can be dropped. We are constantly working with the mayors, the public, animal control, businesses, all of that, independent trappers, USDA, you know, we kind of all have our hands in the same, you know, pot in that respect. So it helps to see that there are people who are more active, because it creates more conversation. And, you know, it's always an active situation, whereas before it was something that kind of, you know, was placed on different groups a little bit more, and, you know, they would just feel the full weight of that. And so now it might be a little bit more evenly distributed with more people involved, which is helpful. And I just hope to see it continue to get better, definitely.
More extra when we return. Hafa and welcome back. Well, it's not easy running an animal shelter. Let's find out how we as a community can pitch in. You know, I know you mentioned that a lot of stuff has gone virtual, and you have the supply drive that cost you less. Is there any other events that you? And I mean,
yeah.
Of course, but
yeah.
I mean, you know,
right now there's nothing scheduled, but you know, as time goes on and we kind of learn how to navigate through this pandemic and learn what works and what doesn't, you know, we are looking for new ways to get the community involved in terms of events, whether it's, you know, maybe we can't have, you know, a fundraiser where people come and have a nice meal, but they can at least pick it up and take it home, you know, that sort of thing. You know, so there's still options. It's just been a matter of kind of getting back on our feet, like any other business, you know, on island, just basically reconfiguring everything. And now that we're kind of in a more comfortable place and we feel more comfortable with how things are going, I think events, whether they're virtual or, you know, or not, are becoming more and more feasible, and it's something that we're looking forward to doing.
And is there, you know, in closing, is there a message that you would like to get out to our community?
Well, just that, you know, we are open, and we are still looking for, you know, fosters and volunteers and all of that, and just contact us. Let us know what you're looking to do, and you know, we will try and meet you halfway as best we can. You know, whether it's fostering for, you know, during storms, coming up here to socialize, or, you know, hanging out with us at Cost You Less on a Saturday. You know, we're just always looking for people who are interested in helping, so that the staff can, you know, be here doing what they need to do, and it'll just keep us, you know, within the community. That's all we really want.
Well, thank you so much, Allison,
for
taking the time out, and
absolutely.
And, I look forward to more conversations like this, and hopefully down the line, you know, maybe talking up an upcoming event.
Yes, we'll let you know.
And I'm definitely going to go take a look at some of the,
we've got lots of them.
the pets that you have. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too.
Well, that's our program. Thank you so much for watching. Now remember, if there's an issue, topic, or event that you'd like to see featured on News Extra, email me at joan@koam.com. Until then, have a great day and be safe.